Yeah, and when I see the techies, I'm like, okay, sure, that's going to be your four position. I almost was certain that they would go for the Mirana Sand King. It was Sand King plus one of the many good fours, but even something like the Coddle, I think would have slotted in pretty nicely here, especially if they were going to go for a hero like the Darkseer. But and here's the problem, as DogChamp have done actually in previous drafts as well, breaking some Dota rules here. They pick Darkseer, they pick it with a ranged four. Of course, Techie's he's going to be going in with the blast off. It's something to look out for. But at the same time, the kind of conventions are being severed here because, well, Darkseer doesn't really have, I want to say, that partner that can just stand in there with the lane. It's not a Nyx assassin. It's not a Tusk. It's not someone to run in. And that's really my biggest concern here is if Luki gets hung out to dry with the counter pick, which I can only imagine that's what Lava are looking for next. I'm just very worried. And I think maybe they don't go for the CK now just because, okay, the Darkseer's online. It's a little bit annoying to deal with your own illusion. It's going to be hard. It dissuades the Medusa pick at the very least. And they take the Tiny themselves.
Okay.
Okay. Solid. Not the immediate counter that I was expecting, but still, what are you going to do when you're diving into what we could presume to be Mars Tiny lane? They're just so tanky in that safe lane.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get any sort of significant damage to stick onto that duo, so... Okay. Not a bad choice for the Lava side, and now we settle into the final phase of bans. Both teams, presumably at this point, looking towards mid bans. As you said before, with a lot of other SA teams, we look at the Mars and think it could go mid. That is technically still an option, but Leo Style plays the mid Mars, I think, significantly less than a lot of his counterparts. So if you're DogChamp, maybe you keep an eye on that, but for the most part, I don't think they're going to be overly concerned about that move.
Yeah, and of course, when we're talking about mid, the Kunkka, I was gonna say the Lash, the Invoker, the even I would go so far as to say the Void Spirit with how thin the mid pool has gotten, even though we haven't seen anything from that hero in quite a long time. I think the biggest mistake they could make right now is picking Ray a weak hero and then Lava just slam you with the Huskar. I think that's what I would be scared of if I'm them. And I think they have to draft around a hero that's just simply going to draw the lane. I think for that very reason, we might just see possibly the Lina pick, just because it's really not an ideal position to be in if you're DogChamp right now, because you have to pick a mid laner that almost can't get countered, but in doing so, you can't really pick an all-any hero, despite really quite a few great heroes are still in the pool, especially the Ember Spirit, which has still made it this far, which is baffling to me, but DogChamp can't pick it. If they do, they lose.
And you mentioned the mid pool was getting a little bit thin. Lava went for an OD ban there at the start of Phase 3. That is not a hero that has really seen a lot of action, but... Oh.
But Ray. But Ray.
Gotta always sort of consider it. Not picked up a lot, but it's still a hero that your opponent sort of has a history with. So they ban out the OD. As you mentioned, the Ember's still in the pool, but I don't really think that's an option that you want to go with on the DogChamp side, which means Lava don't really have to consider banning it. Would Lava try to run it themselves, though? It is a hero that Leo Style is very much familiar with, and there's a decent amount of lockdown on DogChamp, so maybe that would be a little bit risky, but maneuverability and damage could make it worthwhile.
And then I honestly think for DogChamp, the only hero they can really pick of that makes the most sense to me is maybe the Puck coming in from Ray. Even though it's not really been popular so far in this tournament, I feel like that's what they kind of have to see, just because, again, you can't pick the best hero in the situation because you could immediately get countered. I think Puck, at the very least, gives you a little bit more team fight, rounds you out, keeps them around for especially the Wraith King. Aside from Puck, I'm really thinking, and well, that's very different. Well, that's going to dissuade Leo Style from wanting to play that Ember Spirit, but at the same time, not really a playmaker in a team where your playmakers are now going to be the Darkseer, the Techies, and the Wraith King. And are they the best at their job? No. Are they the new hires? Kind of. We're going to have to see, but I feel like now a lot of this game, especially pacing-wise, is going to fall into the lap of the Wraith King, which more or less means that early on, Lava are going to have to concede a lot of their early objectives and a lot of fights that I think they otherwise could take with maybe a more active mid laner, because Necro, hey, he's going to farm. That's about it. He's going to farm and he's going to show up to pushes. He's really not going to be nearly as active. And, well, Lava, I think they're waiting right now to see if they want to try and immediately counterpick it out. But Leostar just picks Invoker. Super simple. I mean, they got exactly what they want.
Yeah, now, if you're Lava, this is kind of interesting. You mentioned that Necrophos not really a playmaker. The Wraith King's going to step up and take some of that responsibility, as you were saying, but that means if you're Lava, now you sort of have a better idea of maybe what the itemization will look like for Stonebank, because if he is going to be the one leading his team into fights, you need something like a Blink or a Shadow Blade to actually make that initiation happen. Otherwise, you're just running at people as a naked Wraith King, and it doesn't really work out too well. So you will have to worry about that to a certain extent, but that also means if Stonebank has to go for those items, then his damage output might be a little bit slower to ramp up.
Yeah, got a few concerns here, but hey, they've got the spice, right? They've got the techies. They're playing versus a team that hasn't played versus the techies just yet, I think, in Lava. And maybe, we're going to see something come out from them. But right off the bat, though, I think Lava have a very well-rounded, very classic lineup, as we've seen a lot of the SA teams kind of pull back a little bit, where NA is definitely trying to embrace the patch a little bit more. My biggest concern, though, is still going to be that safe lane and whether or not we're going to see Luki and Yaren actually able to shut down Kataro, because we've seen what the man can do when he gets a lane to himself, and we've seen him also solo kill offlaners when they do have the fours rotating out. So Yaren, I wonder if he's going to venture even closer towards that Darkseer, but I just feel like it's so hard for DogChamp to make plays. I don't know. It's a very difficult lineup to execute.
And unfortunately for DogChamp, that has seemed to be kind of a consistent theme, is that they tend to draft in a manner that makes it even harder for themselves to find much success. But, well, the last time we saw DogChamp in that 1-1 split against King of Kings did have probably one of their better performances, so maybe they can recapture that form here and try to play spoiler to Lava.
Maybe, but even then, I think Lava will have to see where they decide to actually drag this game out to, because especially when it comes to the Tiny, pacing has always been an issue. The power spikes are placed later now. You're not going to see him, show up maybe mid after he has Tread's Echo Saber. It's definitely playing more towards, I want to say, that 20-minute timing where you have a Shadow Blade or a Silver Edge, you pop up, and then suddenly you instantly kill a hero. But that's also where I think both the techies and the Bane need to be so incredibly careful this game, because they are the first target. They're who Kataro is going to be looking for in these fights. At the very least, doesn't have an easy entrance onto an item like the Nullifier for the Necro, but I also feel like, at least draft-wise, this is why DogChamp typically first phase Ray releases hero. They really just focused him down and picked him apart on Lava side.
Now you end up having to play a Necrophos in the middle lane in a situation where you probably would have preferred anything else, but see how this goes. We'll see if there's any sort of fight here. You've got several Lava heroes hanging out on the high ground, potentially looking to move in for that first bounty rune spawn. Self into the pit. Move their way forward. Is this going to turn into anything, though? Katyu is waiting for as long as he can. Luki, meanwhile, did manage to sort of sneak in behind, but this is a very strange fight. They're going to throw the EMP down. I'm not sure it's going to hit really onto anything. We've just got a party in the river. 8 heroes here trying to collect that bounty rune. Leostyle will get it, but now the Nightmare's going to lock him down. Do they have the damage to finish him off? Yes, they do. Leostyle gets taken out. Lady Nine's able to find first blood. That, I really didn't know what was going to come of that with that many heroes in the area, but DogChamp were able to sort of win that scrambling fight, and they don't get the bounty rune, but first blood is definitely going to offset that quite nicely.
Yeah, and really just not the greatest heroes level 1. Of course, you don't have Tornado, you don't have the Spirit picked up on Katyu because he wants the Rebuke, and I think most importantly, you have no spells coming in from your Tiny because he has the Tree Grab, but, well, they're just trading. Okay, here we go. This is just going to be the name of the game here, but Yarn does need to be fairly careful. Doesn't want to get self-disabled especially, but the Sticky Bomb is a big concern for Katyu. If he does overextend, you could definitely see him getting turned on, and of course Kataro not going to want to expend his mana, really freely, and I think that's where maybe we're just going to see these two supports just duke it out until they're tapped with their regen.
And Katyu for now is sort of getting the worst of it. Of course, Yaren, as you mentioned, did use his salve already, so part of the reason why he's sort of sitting in that advantageous position at the moment, Katyu could just heal himself back up. over the next few moments. And yeah, he's going to do exactly that. But that is both supports using their salves on themselves as opposed to their core in the lane. So, yeah. Who knows whether or not that's actually going to matter, as they're just going to go right back to duking it out. This is... I was going to say intense. Honestly, not really, since they're both level 1. I don't think there's any actual kill potential here, but don't tell them that. They're just continuing to punch each other in the face.
Yeah, and really, this does favor Luki just because he's actually able to contest for his creeps by himself, doesn't need to worry about getting speared. But you're also seeing both supports not getting any of the love level-wise. They're really trying to give everything over, and again, that only favors the Darkseer. The only problem is when it comes to fighting for that ranged creep, oh, it's pretty much a toss-up whether or not the Tiny has that tree, and that's where Luki might try to fall behind a little bit further, but at the same time, you're kind of getting what you want out of your lane right now. Cat, you did buy another salve, so he will have something if Guitar gets pressured up, but I think really the issue is with so much regen getting traded out with the Techie's life, well, there's no real damage following through from the Ion Shell, so Guitaro has really no damage on himself, and oh, the spear almost landed, but missed.
Able to hit that spear. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Leo style, that was an interesting one. He went to try and I think grab the water runes, ended up looping all the way onto his opponent's side of the river and then TPing back to his tower. So this is actually an interesting situation mid. We talked about Ray honestly probably not really wanting the Necro this much, but up against the Invoker, Leo style, hold on, it's going to be the Tornado EMP, but Leo style outside of that combo doesn't have any further damage, no points in Exort, so Ray's at least going to be able to just kind of survive in this lane for a long time, and his farming rate compared to the Invoker is massive, as Guitaro, well, able to strike back in the top lane. Luki gets taken down by the combo, ties us up at 1-1.
Yeah, just took a little bit too much damage there, and that's also where Catyu is always going to be more selfless than Yaren is, so just not having, I think, enough regen to push up Luki. At the very least, he gets his mana back, so every death on Darkseer honestly doesn't feel too bad.
To go back to sort of the point of the mid lane, look at this, Ray. He's hanging out underneath his opponent's tower, knowing Leo Style really doesn't have an answer to him, so... Well, this is kind of a situation that you forced upon yourself if you're Lava, because right now, the supports, I don't really think can afford to rotate. Catyu wants to stay up top to try and help the Tiny. Maybe you start getting the Rubik moving a little bit sooner, but for now that lane's just really going to suck for him. He hasn't even hit double-digit last hits yet.
He is really struggling, and of course, Necro always been a very strong laner, but especially in the early levels right now, even if Leos now hits him with the EMP, it's almost at a loss with the mana that he actually gets back to him in. At the same time, top, the magic damage is too much. Just blast off in with the Iron Shell on him, and well, there you go. There's your little bit of a combo there, and I think Catyu was just saving his salve, and yeah, he actually dies with his salve. Was probably planning to give it over to the Tiny, but just doesn't make it in time.
So, oh, hold on. Taro, you gotta be careful here. Slowing him up just that little bit. Luki doesn't want to go all in for it, though, and I don't know if the Ion Shell would have been enough damage to get the kill anyway, so they'll play it safe, but Kataro does lose a lot of HP. Catyu, however, arrives in time to hit him up with that salve, but yeah, this off-lane duo for DogChamp, they are able to do a little bit more than I might have originally anticipated from them. It's not exactly going to straight up win them a lane, but they are remaining competitive, remaining annoying. Fortunately for them, though, Guitaro really just doesn't care. He continues to farm. And now Catyu's actually just going to go in for the kill. Yarn gets pinned to a tree under his own tower. We'll be able to pick that one off. Okay. Catyu playing very aggressively, but it will work there.
Yeah, and that's where you of course, miss the deny aspect of your hero, and Luki's in an awkward spot. Doesn't have enough mana for the spear, though, so should be fine. Even has the surge away just in case, but hey, Tiny's still farming. Tiny's getting the kills, and I think that's where there is that shift up in techies where you do need to constantly be worried about your next minute and a half when it comes to your region and what you're actually able to do, but doesn't look like that kill is going to happen as Catyu is just able to walk away. But hey, Rune spawned, and they both guessed right.
Catyu? Well, yeah, okay. He was trying to hold it, but once he sees the Necro coming, best gotta grab it for yourself. But does a little loop in the jungle, drops down some wards. Going to be able to say hello to Yarn a little bit here, but this really shouldn't turn into anything. Just trying to harass, and he's going to take a bomb to the face for his trouble, but...
Where'd he go?
Everywhere. Stay down.
Not a bad start there as down bot. Well, I want to see what Frank can do against Stonebank directly. They were able to pick up Lady 9 earlier. Now they are going to make an attempt at the Wraith King's life, but... Well, kill potential very limited here, but they're doing so much damage in this lane as Yarn gets picked off up top. Rayla Lisa, he actually just TP'd in. He's going to look for something. He doesn't have the Reaper's Scythe as he had already used it, but maybe he's got enough damage to kill off Kim down. The Rubik's going to be able to walk away, and Frank is now getting himself out of there as well. So that is an unfortunate TP from Rayla Lisa. Doesn't get a kill, and now maybe some of that pressure that Leo Style had been under is going to be taken away a bit, although I say that pressure's taken away. He still has a long way to go to catch up. You take a look at his net worth, he's 500 behind Lukey, who's the lowest net worth core for DogChamp.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a struggle right now for Leo Style, and you would have loved if he was maybe in a better position to have Leo Style at that initial attempt on the Wraith King bottom before he was level 6, but unfortunately there's just not enough gas in the tank. I do also believe that they don't get the kill on the Rubik though, because Ray attempted a solo kill on Leo Style with the Reaper. I think he was the only one that could have been caught up there, but well, they nightmared Frank. Here they go, they got the Reaper.
Okay, is that enough for the kill? Not initially. They're going to continue to run him down. The problem is Frank, he's tanky, right? He just popped the taunt. He has a Vanguard, so...
Oh, man.
Really can't bring him down. And that's another Reaper Sight that doesn't net a kill. Ray's used it twice and only has 1 assist to show for it.
Well, it's a super unfortunate timing because I also feel like they could have just walked him down maybe just a little bit more, just been a little bit more patient, and then maybe they get the kill, but I guess feeling like they were pressed for time, they don't get it, and now Leo's getting on the aggressive as well. He's kind of in between lanes. His DD is fading, so I don't think he necessarily wants to make the play. Little does he know that he is underneath a ward this entire time, so they have a very good idea of where he's actually coming in from, but Lava are peeling back right now. They're definitely kind of starting the waiting game. Even though Leo's now just finished his urn, until he finds an initial play, there's nothing he can do with it. Top.
They do a wall down for this. Yeah, they're just going to go all in for it. The bomb... It didn't stick, but the explosion radius is still there to kill Cat Yu off. The problem is, Darkseer is so incredibly good at pushing lanes. He is so incredibly just trash at actually hitting towers.
Yeah, he's going to need the creep wave to really do the majority of the work here, but hey, there's not really an option for you to bring anyone down here. You can't exactly put Frank in front of the tier 1, so this is the laning stage more or less coming to a close. Leo Style is walking over, but I don't know, once he gets here, aside from a kill into Yarn, I don't know if that works. Do pick off the Bane in the bottom lane, but well, they're trying it.
Okay, Tornado EMP is going to be there. The Rubik's TPing in, just maybe a Fade Bolt for the kill. Doesn't have the vision for it. Didn't have maybe the range either for that matter, but Yarn, what in the world's going on with his model? That doesn't look right or normal, but I don't think that's really going to matter. He is just sort of stuck in the woods. Leo Style is going to play Ring Around the Rosie with him, and that's a game that Leo Style eventually wins. As Lukey getting hit up by the spear, he already surged, so how exactly does he do this? He tried to cliff. Okay, it was worth a shot, but now he is pretty much trapped up. Surge back up in 5 seconds, but I don't think he's going to live that long.
No, just really well played, and I guess even though you can't bring the axe, you just bring everyone else in. Well, you do lose the mid tower to the Wraith King at the same time, but honestly, really important trades and just helping out Leo Style even further. Just very important for them, but at the same time, Katara's already looking for the trade with the Tiny in the bottom lane, so they are still going even for towers, but you can only imagine that Lava are not going to look to take, or rather lose this top tower as soon as possible, especially because Katyu's going to stay up here as really up until his death, I think, and they are bringing up some more heroes, so you can only imagine he might die pretty quickly, especially if Ray just gets him with the scythe here from the tree line.
He is looking for that angle, but he would have to cut his way through the trees, and he actually doesn't have the means to do so. So they're just going to have to take this straight up, push their way in. Katyu's actually not going to die for it after all, as he will very wisely decide to save his own life, because unless someone else is coming, his death wouldn't actually save the tower in this instance, so just going to have to let that one go. Meanwhile, do want to check over on Frank. How close is he to that blink? He is getting pretty damn close, about 500 away. as he's taking the Ancient stack. So that is going to be go time for Lava. At that point, your Tiny is working, or not working on, has the Echo Saber, so he can get involved and dish out a little bit of damage, and you have your Initiator, and I think they're going to want to make those moves, especially if they can get this Invoker involved. Leostyle is closing in on a Spirit Vessel. He's ever so slowly starting to close that gap between himself and some of the cores on the opposing side. Get him some assists, or better yet, let him get the credit for the kills directly, and you could get him back in the game. The problem is, before they get the chance, he's getting hit up here by the Fiend's Grip into the Reaper's Sight, and that is just a guaranteed kill. Ooh,
Yeah.
Kim.
Nice
Took it away.
steals. Yeah. Does have the Fiend script now, so you can only imagine they're going to look for a play for themselves here. But that's where I think B9, he is always gunning for that play, especially once he gets his level 6. We saw that smoke up after they got the top tier 2 or tier 1 tower. And, well, they need to keep this pressure on. They can't exactly just afford to let their opponents finish off these items. Very strong timing coming up here. Guitarro has the Echo Saber already, but of course, this is the Blink Dagger coming up, and there's the Stolen Grip.
Okay.
And, oh, they've already cut him off. They're relieving him. Well,
that is unfortunate for Luki. There we go. Somebody comes back to kill him, but you really couldn't do much there defensively, right? You just kind of had to let that one go, so they will get the kill. Your Invoker gets in there for an assist, so as we said, just trying to sort of help out that recovery on him. As they're still actually going, pushing into the west side jungle. There's going to be the blink into the taunt. They just barely caught Bloody 9, but they get him. Sunstrike, I think that's, yeah, that is the lowest possible damage on the Sunstrike, but hey, gets in there. They get the assist. Frank gets the kill with the Culling Blade, and Lava are starting to go on the offensive once again here.
yeah, and, well, they need to still defend this mid-tier 1. That's where Lava really want to take them to this, and, well, they're kind of flipping the map here, because Guitarro's already putting up a lot of pressure on this tower, and Yarn actually TP'd in, and I think as soon as they start pinging him out, I don't think he realizes that the rest of the lineup kind of stuck around in the triangle area, so surely dead.
Yeah, that sucks for Yarn. The second that they see that he's actually revealed himself there, they just push in for a bit of a freebie. And now, see Katyu gonna throw down the sentry, looking for some vision here, and I mean, we're what, 14 minutes in? If you can start maybe taking some jungle space away from really the whole of DogChamp's lineup, but Stonebank in particular, he has been sort of working on the south side for the most part, but the more space you can take away from him, the better off you're going to be, because Stonebank really is going to be the guy to carry the torch for them moving forward as they get another initiation into the middle lane. Arena into Spear, nice Nightmare, but not going to be enough. Kim comes in, drops down the Fade Bolt, even gets the lift onto B9, so they're going to take him down as well. Meanwhile, Guitarro combining forces with that Invoker to finish off Luki in the south side jungle, and now Stonebank has actually no reinforcements, no mana for ult either. Could have popped one of those items, but I don't think he even wanted to. It's probably better to just die and prevent the reincarnation from going on cooldown.
Yeah, it feels like they're starting to get Lavoed a little bit here. The pace is being set, and really, there's no reason for Lava to stop. They can just keep on running at their opponents. Of course, did use their big cooldown there. There's no arena for another 45 seconds, but that's why Mars is as broken as he is, right? It is 45 seconds. It's a minute. They're going to be able to take that fight pretty soon, and even Frank feels comfortable enough to just sit top and even attempt to cut the wave this early on, post or pre-15 minutes, as well as look at the vision that Lava have placed down. They just know exactly where you're going to want to be playing, and as soon as they force Stonebank to farm his own triangle, which they will see because, again, they have a ward that's in a really cheeky spot, where do the remainder of DogChamp find their farm? That's the problem where I think Ray, they need to keep on focusing around the Necro. They need to keep on posting him up in these areas, but the fight is getting a little bit too difficult. And yet again, as we bring up in NA versus SA constantly, SA has the team fight. NA don't really have the same tools, and they need to be so careful. They're chasing him out of their jungle right now, but any moment they could get turned on here. And look at Ray.
Jump on Ray first. There's the arena into the Spear Stun, into the EMP. Bloody 9 going down as well. Meanwhile, the Deafening is going to really just keep Stonebank out of the fight, so they'll go on to Luki. They hit him up with the taunt, and there's going to be the Culling Blade kill. Now they can go all in onto really... I was going to say Stonebank. I guess Yaren is going to be the target first, but...
Okay.
All right, that's a nice little turnaround. Yarn goes down, but helps get the kill onto Leo Style. The problem is now your Wraith King is alone. He's going to try to get KAT-YOU down, unable to finish off that kill as his first life will fade away. Bloody 9, though, he bought back, doesn't last very long. KAT-YOU still surviving as Stonebank gets pushed back by the spear. I don't know if the Wraith King's getting anything here. Kim's able to sidestep it. They get the stun, or the taunt down, rather, into another Culling Blade play, and yeah, that TP cannot complete. Leo, or excuse me, not Leo, Ray Lalisa has to just let that one go, but Lukey, he did TP in here, but at this point, DogChamp, it might just be time to sort of cut your losses. They just get completely run at, and what is that, 6 deaths for, I guess you got a kill onto Leo Style, but that's the just participation trophy of kills at this point, basically.
Yeah, and really, of course, they have this deep ward that can't praise enough as they walk back, but there's just not really much you can do at this stage of the game. They get the high ground vision, which Lava absolutely love. They love playing around these cliff areas, and just not having a sentry down, just falling prey to the Tiny. It's just the execution that just is always seemingly there for these SA squads, and okay, sure, you have this techies playing around setting up areas, but Yarn just doesn't have enough space either, and looking over at the Axe, he's got this new change with the ultimate, stealing armor, harvesting it, giving it to yourself. It's another crazy change that, you know, kind of have to sit there and read for a while, but it just feels like this Axe is honestly slotting in very nicely for the Lava lineup.
Yeah, I love that change because it plays into what was already the trend for Axe, right? Every time we see it get picked up, Axe does one of two things. It either basically single-handedly wins the game, or it's useless, right? So they put Culling Blade in a position where if you are rolling like Frank is, then you get even more intimidating, right? He's got, what, 9 armor off of that Culling Blade right now, which is something that on the other side, no one on DogChamp can really match up against. Even the Wraith King, who has been focusing a little bit on trying to armor up, is still vulnerable as that Nightmare comes in at the perfect time to keep Frank from getting the initiation, and DogChamp do bail out successfully.
Yeah, got away with murder a little bit there. Get to walk away in really every sense of the word, but it's where Yaren, well...
better him than one of your core heroes, I suppose, but at this point we've been saying that a lot. 22 kills in 18.5 minutes for Lava, so it's going to start stacking up no matter who really gets killed off at this point. And to that point, you take a look at Leo Style on the Invoker as they are jumping Lukey, who is just, I think, trying to sort of cut some waves. He really isn't in that bad of a spot anymore. Still the lowest net worth core in the game, but that terrible start that he got off to in the lane has really been sort of put in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and well, they're running out of space to work with. If you're DogChamp here, you're still waiting for Stonebank's Blink Dagger, then you can make kind of a crazy initiation onto the Rubik, which is how they almost need to start these fights. But unfortunately, it's just the area denial game. The Techies is getting his area denied. We're not seeing Yarn able to really set up and post up anywhere. At the very least, does have that Ag Shard, so he can dive in there with an actual stun with the setup and the taser, you know, something to look forward to. But unfortunately, I do feel like Lava are snowballing a little bit right now, and with how early they got that bot tier 2, there's no real reason for them to leave this area, except for the fact that maybe they don't have a ward on KAT-YOU, which they do kind of need to stick around. And this is a clever smoke on the DogChamp side, but again, how do you actually start this fight without the blink on the Wraith King? You have to surge and run at them for the vacuum, and B9, he's been really good about finding his immediate grips. Usually B9's grips end up going their full duration because he just finds those very vulnerable targets, and okay, trying to bait him on the rune here, but unfortunately, because Stonebank shows up and he was the only member not smoked, it looks like this isn't going to pan out, and as soon as it doesn't, Lava's going to go for a smoke of their own, I can only imagine.
And you know, it's interesting, in the draft we sort of talked about with that Necrophos pickup that Stonebank was going to be relied upon to now be the initiator, and as we mentioned, he's going after the Blink Dagger, but he didn't actually go for it as early as I thought he would. He went for that normal Deso armor play, and now, oh boy, he's going to get jumped in on the EMP, takes the mana away, so there will be no reincarnation. That's a nice back wall from Lukey. I just don't think it's really going to matter at this point because there's no one here to follow it up. There is no damage out from this Darkseer, as they'll simply take him down, and DogChamp are running out of options at this point, and we're only 21 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and it's like Sure, maybe there's a positioning mistake once or twice from DogChamp that really results in a lot of these kills, but every time you get caught in these areas, you're losing 2 to 3 heroes constantly towards lava, and they're taking the farm and they're just running away with it. And you look at their side, everyone is active, everyone is very capable, everyone is getting to use their spells in these engagements. I think DogChamp just need almost a full reset. They need to find an angle, maybe post up on a high ground, wait for a mistake to come out from lava, because at this point in the game, they're gonna get stuck in their base, and once they get stuck in their base with a hero like the Wraith King, you just die. In Stonebank, he's forced to go for the Ag Shard, so Blink Dagger status reset to 0. They need this fight, and this is actually a pretty good opportunity. Lava are fairly split here, but they're breaking on the Invoker, and the Ward's gonna spoil everything. They don't find either target.
This is just rough for them. They're not going to get in onto anybody. There could still be a fight, but I don't think it's one that they want at this point, as they are going to jump in onto Gatyu. Okay, that's going to be a quick and easy kill for them, but now you watch over to the side.
Nice grip.
The grip actually ends up getting canceled out. Yeah, Kim actually stole it before they got the cancel in there as well, so never mind. He's not going to get to use it. Reaper side from Ray Lalisa is going to take care of that Rubik, but on the backside, Kataro, he saw Yarn alone. He's able to find the kill. Now he has to get away. The dust did clip him, but now it's Frank's turn, jumping in. This lineup for DogChamp, they're just getting too spread out. If you want to pick a target, fine. But the convoy gets kind of broken up, and now they're in some serious trouble. Stonebank is going to try to fight his way out of this. That's a nice wall down. That should be enough to take out Leo style, but Kataro comes in with the avalanche onto 3. They follow it up with the taunt, and, well, Stonebank is just going to have to fight this alone. I don't think he gets this kill onto Frank. And now he's not even really going to be able to get out. West has to sit here and wait for death as the toss play will finish things off. And they got a little bit greedy there, right? They go in one direction thinking, hey, there's a low health hero. We can track down Kataro. But by doing so, you leave the rest of your lineup, the other half that was still over by the river, completely exposed.
Yeah, and that's where Necro is also just not a very mobile hero. He just gets stuck kind of in between the two areas of the fight, and now they don't have any more outer towers, so when it comes towards that structure, it feels like now DogChamp are going to be stuck waiting just yet again for a lot of these big items. Luki's going for a BKB, and he's actually going to have it pretty soon here, but when it comes to the rest of his teammates, just not much is coming through the pipeline here, especially for the Wraith King, and that's where Lava, they're looking at Roche now, possibly. It's not going to be the easiest, but it's definitely going to surely happen, and without any contest from DogChamp, it will be just absolutely free.
Slow but free is going to be just fine by Lava, as, oh, got a medallion. All right, there's a little bit of extra armor reduction, and DogChamp will just sit in their base. I'm not even sure if they know it's happening. Obviously, they'll find out in just a few moments, but by that point, it is far too late. Kataro gets the Aegis into his hands, and Kataro, wow, he's just gonna go in for a moon. Yeah, moon shard. Okay, why not? You're far enough ahead where I don't think that's really gonna be a play that backfires on him too much. It's still gonna help him just get these kills quickly. And speaking of kills, they have spotted Bloody Nine. Gonna be able to take him down in the woods. Frank says thanks for the armor and the kill. And further to the south, yeah, further problems. Yarn taken down. Ray trying to fall back into the base, but Kataro's not really going to let him go. That is a, I believe, stolen nightmare onto Ray Lalisa to keep him locked in, and they'll finish him off as well. Stonebank now arriving at the fight. Far too late to really matter. They're going to throw down the arena. They even use a stolen wall there just to make sure no one on DogChamp can get into this fight. And ET at this point, I think we're going to see a GG relatively soon here. Stonebank is still alive, but he's just getting run around. Frank doesn't really seem to care about him much, and well, Lava won't go any further. The creep wave did die, so the backdoor protection kicks in, but it's feeling like just a matter of time now.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at the green Rubik wall. It's very pretty, you know? Don't get to see that every day. But also, look over at Kim. With the new Ags, with the new Rubik. That's 731 for you. We've seen a few Rubiks, but we haven't got to see them get to this point, but hey, all of those Invoker players out there might have a new best friend, because this is pretty strange to look at if you play Dota for any number of years.
That is very, very nice for the Rubik. Is Frank gets in there with the taunt. Now Kataro's going to jump forward. They throw the Wraith King all the way. He actually gets hit by the Culling Blade mid-toss. That's a little awkward, but they break that first life. But Stonebank is back up. They're going to try and make something happen here. The Reaper Scythe under Leo style will find that kill. And Kataro's starting to drop low as well, but even if they bring him down once, he's got the Aegis, so they're trying to fight around the Tiny as long as possible to get the Fiend's Grip onto Katyu, but that Yule Scepter will be popped defensively. Katyu's going to try and set something up while his teammate respawns, because that Tiny is coming back. Frank, meanwhile, running interference. 3 heroes chasing after him. Stonebank is going to be able to finish the kill, but Kataro goes back in. He's taking down Bloody 9, but now this actually may have been a little bit too far for Kataro, because doesn't have a whole lot of HP, doesn't really have any lifesteal. The Stolen Reaper Scythe is going to be there from Kim, and that does get the Tiny away. Kim may end up dying for this one, though, but he's able to save the Tiny, mission accomplished. But Kataro, he really can't. He's just got to leave. You see him sort of hanging out nearby just in case, but with the health that he has, it really isn't realistic.
Yeah, and okay. They threw just a little bit there on the lava side. Their ward dies up on the high ground. They actually got to fight in the dark there, and I think that heavily favored DogChamp. Just not having that high ground vision, lava weren't able to really find the same targets that they wanted to, and that's the field that if you don't take out the Necro or split him from the rest of his teammates, the durability is felt. It feels like it's very difficult to actually get him off the deck. Not to mention with the Aegis, they just didn't use really the BKBs, the Silver Edges. Not enough came out early on of that fight, and as soon as you lose the heroes without Aegis, like Leo style, well, it feels like maybe you should have used that BKB so you could have fight while your Invoker was still alive, and okay, a little bit of gold. Not the biggest change, I think actually only like 1 or 2k, but it's still something, and as we always speak with teams that are behind, that's a few more items now done and accomplished by DogChamp, but a lot of levels now falling into their hands as well.
And yeah, it may not have been a massive swing, but at this point, if you're DogChamp, you're going to be hard-pressed to fall any further behind. So anything that you can really get here is going to be useful for them. But, well, they kind of just need more fights like that. I don't know, that feels like it's oversimplifying, but they've got to be able to prove that they can do that again.
Nope, definitely so, and really, I think they can. Now that they have the Blink Dagger on Stonebank and level 18, you know, you've got that low cooldown on the Reincarnation. He'd love a BKB or an AC, and looks like BKB will be his choice, but he also can't afford to be too far out of the base because the Tiny's going to do just this, and ooh, nice telekinesis back, but the Rax is still so low. They need to be so careful here.
Both sides looking to reset. Do they go back in? Their creep wave is coming up here. And Stonebank is getting real far forward. That could get a little bit risky. Kataro, though, he jumped on the back line. They're able to take down Luki pretty quickly. They'll get through the first life now on that Wraith King as well. Immediate buyback coming out from the Darks here as they try to turn this fight, but they're not really hitting onto much of anybody. The Yule Scepter from Katyu allows him to dodge out that stun from the Wraith King. And this is starting to get into dangerous territory. Rayla Lisa's going to get taken down. Yaren going to get locked down and finished off by the axe. And now, your Wraith King, he went forward, but he had already used the ult. He can't afford to be that far forward without backup. As he does go down, he'll buy back, but at this point, there's really nothing left to fight with. He buys back into basically nothing.
You need to be so careful, though. 30 seconds on Reincarnation still, but yeah, that's going to be a soul call on Luki, and oh no, they can't lose Stonebank. Well, yeah,
there
GG.
it is. GG called. Well, to a certain extent, we were sort of looking at it going that way anyway. DogChamp are really running out of time, but you would have liked to see something go their way in that final fight. They get 1 or 2 kills at the most, and this is the result that we expected, ET, but it's still unfortunate that DogChamp couldn't put up something better.
Well, and especially because, I mean, Ray bopped him. Ray did such a good job early on versus the Invoker. He was really kind of wiping the floor with Leo style. Leo style, of all people. And it just never really came to anything. They didn't have enough control to actually make that Necro, I want to say, feel effective in this game. The game kind of ended before he actually got to do anything. Aside from that top tower push, I felt like that was the last time we saw DogChamp really get on the aggressive, and then you're waiting for Stonebank, you're waiting for the blink timing. He went for a normal item build, and of course it does feel, you know, good once you have everything, but it's just not really being aware, I think, of the game that they were barreling towards and how much they really needed him to actually make those plays, so they kind of just end up falling apart after that. I think coming into game 2, shake off the dust, maybe try to run the techies again. Yaren, I still feel like put him on his Kato, put him on his Mirana, though. If you're really seriously looking to take a game off of Lava here, I think you need to run kind of your A list of strats and maybe throw out the Bane idea, because this is, I want to say, the third time they've tried it, and it's just immediately followed up by the Rubik, and then, and not just the Rubik, the Tiny as well, and just having too many heroes that cancel that grip. I just don't feel like we're getting our money's worth out of the Bane pick.
They've been sort of bashing their head against the wall a little bit with those Bane selections, so might be time to try something new. Meanwhile, for Lava, that was the win that they absolutely needed to sort of get themselves back into that tied position. Now, they've got a shot at the 2-0 that would punch their ticket to the upper bracket. So, if they play anything like what we saw in this first game, it really does feel like that's the direction we're going in, but DogChamp will still have an opportunity to show us something and try and just delay or even possibly entirely stop that move from Lava. But they're going to need to show us quite a bit, and they're going to need to change up something, because that Game 1 draft did not really look strong.
Nope, but we'll have to see. Hopefully we've got something in store for us, because kind of back to the beginning of the group stage here, sub 30-minute games are not really fun.
Well, it's fun for the team that's winning, I suppose, but winning is always fun at the end of the day. So with that in mind, we're going to be moving along to game number 2 here, just about 10 minutes away. So we will be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll see if DogChamp can get that 1-1 draw, or if it's going to be Lava getting the 2-0 and getting that upper slot.